Hey, this is Notser, and today we're going to take the grand old lady out. She is the Tier 6 Premium British Battleship Warspite. She has 8 381mm guns, 16 secondary guns, 45A defense rating, a surface detect of 13.8 kilometers top speed, 24.7 knots, total health 53,800. For my modules, reduce crit chance on main armament, improved aiming accuracy, reduce the chance of flood and fire, faster rudder shift. For my commander, situation awareness, basic survivability, faster turret traverse, superintendent, and advanced firing training. We're on the map Neighbors, and what can I say? Really big guns. We've got a scout plane, which is sort of forced on us, and I wanted to make use of the stopwatch technique. The scout plane for me has always been a challenge to make use of, but obviously it still confirms that you can see the stopwatch is shrinking and expanding. I'm confirming that that's roughly where the enemy ship is going to be. Now, a friendly gets a really big citadel on the target, knocks out his propulsion, he changes his course slightly. We miss, unfortunately. But his propulsion was knocked out, he's got to use his damage control. He's going to be susceptible, along with that enemy Murmansk, by having to sail on the inside half of the island. They have limited options of where to go, or they're going to pull a Notser. They don't want to pull a Notser. So I lead him again. I confirm with the stopwatch. Most of these shots at these extreme ranges I could never hope to hit. Previously, the scout plane is just weird to use, but with the lead and with the confirmation, we get 6K. Friendly follows up, takes the kill. Good for him. I hope that was the player that got the really big citadel at the start against the enemy. Now there's only 30 seconds left, so this is going to be the last salvo against the enemy ship, and I want to make it count. Is this York willing to show his side? It looks like he's actually softening his angle. We have 15 seconds left, Notser. You better decide who you want to fire at, or you're not going to get a chance. Now, some of these ships, they're well within our range. We'll be able to engage it, but you can see I'm sort of trying to find the right spot against the York so I can fire on his ship. And we get it just before the scout plane goes away. That sort of slow pan back is confirmation that the aircraft is going away. And I land 3 shells, 2 overpin, 1 penetrating. It should have been pretty decent damage. The Warspite is the largest caliber gun, I believe, at tier 6. And you can do a lot with that. Now, she takes a ton of damage. She does have pretty good heals, but who wants to take a lot of damage just for good heals, right? You don't want that. So you sort of have to play at the front, the back. You don't want to be the primary target of cruisers or destroyers who are flinging the HE, right? You're going to be on fire all the time. I decide to engage this enemy York. It's another enemy York, and we did pretty good. 13,000. I confirmed the other health pool that I did damage to, and we did pretty good damage to the other enemy York. I think we did 8K to him. So not bad so far. Most of my team is headed out west and south. And I decided, I don't want this flank to be completely open. I enjoy not being on the primary flank. Especially if you're in a ship it's not the slowest ship, but it's one of the slowest ships in the game, tier for tier. 24 knots. It's not US Battleship slow, but it's pretty slow. So you can't get out in front of the enemy. You can't flank the enemy as effectively as other ships. So you sort of want them to come towards you, or at least not get out of your range. And that was the understanding with this game. And the enemy York, he's pretty thin. I've noticed that a lot of players are thin as a blade whenever they're engaging a large caliber ship, which they should be, honestly. But that doesn't allow for a lot of leeway. If they have to turn, I am going to wait for that turn. Now we're doing a little bit more, confirm exactly where the stopwatch is located, and we unload our guns. I don't want to pull a Notser, so I have to go in front of this island, not behind it. He adjusts his heading, but we had a good aim. Unfortunately, the shell did not penetrate. Maybe the angle was just too harsh. Maybe it was a weird part of the ship, I don't know. We did no damage to the target while he's returning fire with some AP. Now the York is not as bad as it once was, and I will be revisiting it along with the other ships, I've tried to play the Mutski. And oh boy, is she really bad. I never actually completed full unlock 10k. Actually, it's 11k. We'll round up 50 points. 11,000 points of damage against the York. No Citadel, but we did pretty good damage, right? Now, yeah, I'm revisiting ships, the York, the Mutski, the Hatsuharu, the Pensacola, the New Orleans, right? It's all a blur, man. Anyway, the Japanese destroyers are just terrible. They're as bad as I remember. Plus, the players are way better now. They're not going to just sit and take torpedoes left and right. Yeah, sure, you've got your token player, but as you go up the ranks, a Mutski is going to meet tier 8s. A Hatsuharu is going to meet tier 9s. These are good players, or at least they should be. And you're just not going to see the kind of results you want. Now, enemy New York is broadside. I am scouted by aircraft. They do know that this is a possibility. However, he wasn't really moving that fast. I confirmed with the stopwatch, and we did 3 damaging shots. 1 penetrating, 2 over penetrating, 1 ricochet. And I'm happy so far. Thankfully, a enemy destroyer has not come to this flank. He's actually engaged with a friendly, and he just took out the friendly destroyer on the southwest side of the map. And this enemy York, he's just about to get outside of my effective range, and I would just love to take him out. And I think he's mirror driving. I don't know how he's fully aware, but he is sailing just enough where I'm just not confident in taking that shot. I'll probably miss it. And if I take that shot and miss it, I'm going to announce my presence to these 2 enemy battleships with no return. Now, I thought that they would be on the other side of this island. The nice thing about last known position is that you can confirm exactly where you're looking. Oh, there were 2 battleships that were previously spotted. There's a nice little line that directly mirrors where you're actually aiming down your, well, you're not aiming down your sights, but you get the idea. And yes, they are rotating around the island just as I am. And I decide to drop the speed. Maybe the New Mexico is going to come through that island gap. If he commits past that island, I should be able to do a lot of broadside damage. I confirm that they do not see me. This is a complete ambush. They probably infer that I'm somewhere over here, but they don't know exactly where I'm going to be. And the New Mexico, he understands the threat. He takes a left right at that island. He saves himself from certain damage. But that's not going to stop me from trying to get a little bit. And I'm actually in reverse because I think the island is going to block my line of sight. Come on, New Mexico, show yourself. Don't be a... Okay. He doesn't have the upgraded hull. This is probably the B hull. It's certainly not the C hull. And yes, fully broadside. 11,000 points of damage. Only 4 shells made contact. 50% did 11,000. It could have been better, but I'll take 11,000. Thank you very much. That's right up the alley where I would like to get a ton of damage against the enemy. We don't see, I think it was a Texas. We don't see the other battleship. And I don't want to be in a position where I fail to understand all enemy threats. And there he is, finally. He's also moving around the islands with his teammate. They're not in a division, so it's purely a team up based on the situation. But whoa, whoa, whoa. Enemy Ranger? Why is the Ranger over here? And I just want to try and lead him correctly. Again, we confirm with the stopwatch that I will hit him at some point. And not as much damage as I would like. Now, I'm basically at the enemy base. I've been pushing pretty hard this entire time, looking for clean opportunities. It's just a slow ship. Some people, oh, you're too passive. You're too passive. It's 24 knots. I can't go any faster. I don't want to go alone. I did have a cruiser, but I think he pulled all the way back for whatever reason. So again, we line up a shot on the Ranger. He's getting closer and closer and closer. Ooh, much better shot. 18,000 points of damage. That's what I like to see. And I think that citadel actually penetrated, either it was on the deck or it was an interesting angle, because it looked a little weird. It's always a good idea to confirm the biggest threats around you. Now, the aircraft carrier can't shoot his guns at me. I don't really need to stare at him. I know what he's going to do. I set up again. Waterline shot. It looks good. It feels good. He sends out his aircraft, and again, we get a citadel for 14,000. We don't kill him, though. Might have been just a touch too low in the water. If you look at where they hit, they're plunging down. They're almost in line with the hull structure on an aircraft carrier. Maybe some of them bounced. Maybe they just went in the water. It's always probably preferred that you elevate just slightly. And I'm just trying to confirm how much distance I can lead, and I really want to kill him this shot, and we do indeed. Good, good, good. The enemy York is showing up. Enemy aircraft are probably auto-attacking my ship. If you're ever close to dead in an aircraft carrier, just set it on an auto-attack. It's much better than them just immediately deactivating. And I don't really need anything but my front guns on this guy, so I just need to prepare correctly. Make sure it flies true. He is actually turning a little bit too sharp, and this should be an easy kill. He's showing way too much of his side, and yes indeed, we take him out with overpinning shells. There's an enemy destroyer. He's somewhat close to me. Now, the German cruiser line has torpedoes, and torpedoes are usually used whenever they are close to dead. And I believe the enemy destroyer sent his torpedoes, and the dead carcass sent his torpedoes, and we take two. Ooh, that was a lot of damage. I, of course, put out the flood. I would prefer that I not flood out. I'm probably not going to flood out, right? I have so much health, but it's always good to be safe. And if you expect a possible torpedo attack, it's probably coming. Shells incoming to the enemy New York, and we take them out. And now there's only two left. The New Mexico went in the completely opposite direction. He's engaging a friendly cruiser somewhere on the north side of the map. Just the enemy destroyer and the enemy base. Now, I would love to catch up to the New Mexico, but there's no way he's going to allow me to get close. So we're in the slowdown period where there's absolutely no way of influencing either outcome. The enemy Mahan is hopefully going to die to a torpedo attack. If not, the friendly battleships and cruisers that are much closer should be able to take him out. The New Mexico, I don't know what is going on. A friendly cruiser is engaging him. Have no idea how much health he has. But I just want to talk about the scout plane. You notice that I used the stopwatch technique, and it did indeed confirm a general lead that you can apply even with the scout plane. Previously, I would be hesitant to use scout planes. They just were not as impactful as I would like. But I will definitely be loading them down and trying them out with pretty much every single ship that I can think of. Because every single ship can make use of AP in a broadside scenario. Now, this game, friendlies have taken out the enemy destroyer. The New Mexico is in a very close engagement with the friendly cruiser. We should be able to see his health any second now. And we are capping out. We're over 75%. He takes out the friendly Cleveland. A little bit of glory for the enemy in their dying breath, right? The old girl, she performed very well. Her caliber is extremely high for this tier, as most of you know, and her accuracy is very good. So, we should be able to find more success with this particular battleship. The friendlies are trying to stack up, take the point, get the capture done, and finally we do. We win it as a team. The South did a good job. I was able to push pretty well on the northeast side of the map, and the credit income's very good. 3 kills, over 105,000 points of damage, 1,972 base XP. All of our damage from AP, not a surprise. She has very big guns, and you should make use of it. I hope you enjoyed seeing the Warspite. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.